Hi and welcome back. I'm Mary Jo, also known as Sojo, and this is my channel where I talk about all my quilty stitchy things. And this is my December 2024 trunk show. It's just the end of the year trunk show where I have about 10 quilts and I just do a trunk show and show you. Now, today is Christmas Day, so my first two quilts are Christmas, but the rest are not. So only two of them are Christmas. Now, I do want to wish everybody that celebrates a Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays. And if you don't celebrate, then I just hope you have a wonderful, amazing day. So, now this is the first quilt that I have. Now this is by Crabapple Hill Studios and it's called 'Twas the Night Before Christmas. Now this is 58.5 by 78.5. And all of that red work through there is hand embroidery. I know it's a little bit hard to see, but the tops is Santa and a sleigh, and then on the sides and bottom is just a little Christmas village. And then of course the middle is patchwork. So let's flip it over and we'll take a look at the back and the quilting. So that's a little look at the back. It's like a Christmas plaid for the backing. Now the pantograph used was like a Christmas tree pantograph all over. I think it was called Tenenbaum. So that's my first quilt. Now let me show you number 2. Now this is quilt number 2, and I used a pattern from Wilmington Prints. Now the pattern was made for a different fabric line. The pattern is called Snowy Friends, and that was the fabric line, and that was by Nancy Mink. But I did not use that fabric line for this. I had my own panel, my own fabrics that I put together, and came up with this. Now the quilting on this is like snowflakes all throughout. So I'll kind of flip over the edge and you can take a look at the backing. So the backing is just the same as that border all the way around. Now this does measure approximately 48 by 68. And like I said, I used a snowflake pantograph. And this is number 3. Now this is the legendary pattern by Elizabeth Hartman. Now we've got that Bigfoot or Sasquatch. They are sort of in the middle with all the trees. Now in the original pattern, it called for the trees to be all one color of green, but I made mine a little more scrappy. And for the pantograph, I used a pantograph called Bigfoot, which again has that Bigfoot and trees all throughout it. So let me flip it over and we can take a look at the backing. And there's a look at the back that has all the different like cryptic type things on it. There is some other Bigfoots along with some other mythical creatures. And then I have number 4, which is probably the smallest quilt that I have today. And this is from the Bliss block of the month from the Sew Sampler a few months ago, or not months ago, a few years ago. And this is 57.5 by 57.5. This was designed by Fig Tree & Co. And I used a floral pantograph on it. All right, let's look at the back. And there's just a quick look at the backing. At number 5, this is my Lori Holt Mercantile Quilt Seeds quilt. Now I did do videos of showing you of me making this. So let's see if I can go down here a little bit. And there's kind of the bottom. Now the pantograph I used had like spools of threads, bobbins, thimbles, needles on it. Now this quilt does measure, let's see, 70.5 by I think 87.5. Let's look at the back. And there's a look at the back of the quilt with my label there in the corner. And number 6. Now this was a disappearing pinwheel illusion, which was a tutorial from Missouri Star Quilt Company I used. The extra blocks, I made a pillow cover, which is down in the corner. Let me remove that. So there's a look at the quilt without that. Now this quilt measures 76 by 76, and it was made with a layer cake. I believe the name of the layer cake was Leaflet. So the pantograph, when I quilted this, I used a leaf pantograph all over it. And there's a look at that very rich purpley backing I used. And this is number 7. I did forget to mention on number 6 that was made during part of a What Will I Make series that I do, so you can see me construct that whole quilt with those videos. Now this quilt, number 7, is a disappearing pinwheel friendship star. Again, this was a tutorial from Missouri Star, and it did use a layer cake. So the pantograph I used on this one is a paisley pantograph. Now I'll flip it over so you can see the back. But the next several quilts all have blue in them. It's like I like blue or something. But let's look at the back of this one. So there's a look at my backing and label on that. Now number 8, this is a quilt top that I made several years ago, and it is an Eleanor Burns quilt pattern called Gadabout. Now let's see, what did I quilt on it? I quilted a pantograph called Daisy Galore all over it. So like I said, this was an Eleanor Burns pattern. Now Eleanor Burns is who basically taught me to quilt through her videos. I know a lot of people nowadays say they learned for YouTube University. However, Eleanor Burns is who taught me through her PBS channel. Or her PBS shows that was on the PBS channel. All right, let's take a look at the back. There's a little look at the backing that was used. Quilt number 9. Now this quilt measures 84.5 by 86.5, and this was a pattern from Wilmington Prints. It was from Stephanie Ryan Awakening, who is the same person who designed the fabric, which was called Awakening or Awakenings. And I used a floral pantograph all over it. And there's just a quick look at the backing. And we come to number 10. Now this quilt is probably the quilt that I am the most proud of making this year. This is a completely foundation paper pieced pattern from Judy Niemeyer called Summer Solstice. Now this is about 99 by 99. And I used all batiks on this. And the foundation was a pattern, or not the foundation, the pantograph was a pattern called Sun Scallops. And I used that because, well, it's summer solstice, but also the suns in there kind of looked like these scallop edges going on through there in the center of the quilt. So let's take a look at the back. And the back is another batik. Okay, so that's 10 quilts. I'll be back for another trunk show when I get 10 more quilt tops quilted and bound. Till next time, bye.